Oh, yes.
4:30.
Yeah, look pretty. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
Good evening and welcome. It is 7:30 p.m. Tonight is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025. I want to welcome you all back. We took a recess in the March meeting and we all celebrated Prince Kuhio, which actually fell on our meeting night. So Prince Kuhio's holiday. So I want to welcome everyone back. I hope everyone had a really wonderful holiday time period for the March recess. And I'd like to invite you all as we begin this Mililani Neighborhood Board meeting by standing, if able, so that we can recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Mahalo. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, again, thank you everyone for coming. This is a hybrid meeting, which means that this is hosted both online and in person here at Mililani High School H building. So as a kind reminder for our public notice, because this is a hybrid meeting, I kindly request that if there are members of the public or members of this neighborhood board that would like to speak, please raise your hand so I can recognize you in person. Please raise your hand. If you are online, please raise your online hand. And pretty much the process is I try to equally recognize those in person and those online so we can continue on with this meeting. Without further ado, I'd like to give it over to Rachel Cristobal, our neighborhood assistant, who will be conducting roll call for our neighborhood board so that we can establish quorum. Thank you.
Thank you. When I call your name, please state if you're present in person or online. Rana? Among?
Here.
Thank you. Parmati?
Online.
Thank you. Dal? Present, that's in person. Flores? Here. Freed?
Online.
Thank you. Christopher? Here, okay. Ka'anehe?
Online.
Thank you. Panaaki? Kim? I think I saw Kim. Oh, Kim. Kim, here. Thank you. Here. Puka'a? Darshali?
Present.
Present in person, thank you. Marilyn Lee?
Here.
Here. And then Nagamine said he wasn't going to be here. Ozawa?
Present.
Thank you. Online. Park? Park. No. Okay. Segura?
Present online.
Thank you. Ross?
Present online.
Thank you. Smart?
Present online.
Thank you. Cersina?
Present.
Thank you. Bernard?
Present online.
Thank you. Williams?
Present online.
Thank you. And then I have Daniel Bass in person. And there's 18 members in here. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Rachel. Okay, so first order of business, we'll go into monthly reports. First up is Honolulu Fire Department. Welcome.
How's it going? Captain Tateishi from Mililani Fire Station, Engine 36. So the statistics provided below represent confirmed number of incidents in the neighborhood board's geographical area for the previous month. For more details on the incidents and related mapping information, please visit the fire response map on our HFD website at fire.honolulu.gov under the news and info tab. If you have any questions, please email the HFD's public affairs and media liaison at hfdnhb@honolulu.gov. So incident statistics for March 2025. Fires, 0 structure fires, 2 wildland brush fires, 3 nuisance fires, 0 cooking fires, 3 activated alarms, no fires. Emergencies, 81 medicals, 1 motor vehicle collision with the pedestrian, 6 motor vehicle crash/collision. 0 mountain rescue, ocean rescue, hazardous materials incidents. And fire safety tip for April 2025, evacuation planning. Ensure you have an emergency preparedness plan in place for situations like environmental emergencies, fires, or natural disasters. Familiarize yourself with at least 2 escape routes from your home and plan an evacuation path if you must leave your neighborhood due to an emergency. For more information, visit fire.honolulu.gov. Other points, leave early to avoid getting trapped by fire, smoke, or traffic delays. Set up a predetermined meeting spot like a trusted neighbor or a relative's home, a low-risk area, a shelter, or evacuation center, and bring your emergency supply kit with essential items for your family and pets. And that's it. Anyone? Questions?
Mahalo. Thank you for coming. And folks, if you've come in and you need a seat, come grab a seat. Feel free. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions? Marilyn.
Thank you for coming. I just thought 81 was really a large number of medical calls. How many of those are critical kinds of things where you have to take the patient to the ER?
I don't have that information. Some of them, a lot of them get transported by EMS. Some of them refuse. Some of them EMS decides not to transport. I don't have that.
You say you don't know, which are critical calls or which are not really nuisance
I
calls.
don't have that information at hand.
It'd be nice to know because I think it's a lot.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Yeah.
I see another question from Anne. Anne, go ahead.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you for sharing with us, firefighter. I really appreciate it. So my question is, of the wildfires, were any of those due to fireworks?
I don't have that information either. Sorry.
Can you find out?
I can look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any further questions from the board or the members of the public who would like to ask any questions for HFD at this time? Seeing and hearing none, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. Okay, next up, we have HPD. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Lieutenant Scott Vieira with the Waipi'o Police Station. I'm the night watch commander, which starts from 6 p.m. till 7:30 in the morning. So I'm going with the stats for the month of March into April. There were 4 assaults. There were 0 robberies. There were 2 burglaries and 3 unauthorized entry into motor vehicles, which is basically breaking into someone's vehicle while it's unattended. Excuse me. There were 629 total calls for service. I'll go ahead with the safety tip. This safety tip for the month has to do with our vehicles and just making them safer, specifically what we can do to our own vehicles to make them safer. So the first thing is just, conduct a visual inspection of what's in your vehicle. A lot of times, and I'm guilty of this sometimes too, we leave things in there that could become hazards in the unfortunate event we get into a collision. They become projectiles, and things like hydro flasks, kids' sports equipment, a bat, a helmet can be kind of dangerous and injure yourself or one of your passengers. So just, if it's not needed, put them in the trunk or get them out of the car. Can also just look at visual obstructions, things that you put on the dashboard. If it is obstructing your vision, probably should put it in a better place. Things hanging from the rearview mirrors a lot of times obstruct your vision as well. So just have them removed. And then lastly, things in your glove box or in the console. A lot of times people will keep the title to the car in there. That's not a good idea. In the unfortunate event it gets broken into or taken, it's going to be a nightmare to deal and try to prove that you own the car. So just don't put the title in there. A lot of times you will leave our wallets overnight. Just remember to take important things out. It's tax season. Taking your taxes to and from the office, get them out of there. Just important documents. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, members of the board, members of the public. Are there any questions for HPD at this time? Yes, Mike.
Do you have to have your registration, safety inspection, everything in your glove box?
Well, it should be in the vehicle. So the vehicle inspection is required. The safety inspection, the registration needs to be in there. And usually you put the decal on your license plate, but the paperwork should be in the glove box and a copy of your no-fault insurance card. Those are the 3 things that should be in the vehicle. I know some of the insurance companies now have like a digital one. If you have it on your phone, that's fine. As long as you can prove those 3 things when asked, that should be okay.
Okay, because my truck, this about 5 years ago, was at the airport. They tried to steal it, but they stole everything in my car. And then that day I I didn't realize it, but there was no mail in the mailbox. And I think they came to my house They probably didn't break in, but they stole the mail. They went to the address and figured, oh, this guy's not there.
Oh, yeah. So a lot of times they will do that. You know, like I said, they'll find documents in the car, find out where you live, and further or try to further victimize you. So yeah, things are not needed in the vehicle, get them out of it. But those 3 documents should be in your car.
Are there any further questions from the members of the board, members of the public for HPD at this time? I see Anne has her hand up.
Yeah, sorry to be a pest. So, question, opinion, and apropos of the previous speaker, that law needs to be changed because clearly, if someone steals your car, they have access to personal information, which in this day and age they can use. I mean, times 10. I've been the victim of a scam. So my question is that a county law or a state law that requires you to do that?
I believe the documents are a state law. I'm not sure. I don't want to give you wrong information though, but
Good to know. Then we know who to talk to. Thank you.
Any further questions for HPD at this time? Seeing and hearing none, thank you so much.
and who was she who asked? I don't have her name. Is it
That
Anne?
was board
Um,
member Anne Freed.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you. Okay, next up, representing the U.S. Army Combat Aviation Brigade 25th ID, Captain Block, welcome.
Hi, Captain Block here from 25th Combat Aviation Brigade. I'm here with the U.S. Army Official Neighborhood Board talking points for the month of, well, they're for May, but as of April 21, they were recently updated. So the U.S. Army Garrison Hawaii is holding its next hiring fair on June 24th at Kapolei High School, beginning at 8:30 a.m. and ending at 2 p.m. This is open to the public. There will be job offers and provisional hiring on the day of the job fair. Advanced applicants may go to www.himwr.com, click on the employment banner to learn of openings and how to apply online. Walk-ins are welcome, and if you do choose to walk in, please bring 2 references, proof of identification, social security card, resume, or application. There are opportunities in business operations such as golf, bowling, food service, and many more. Child Youth Services, also known as CYS, will have openings to consider. And worth noting, for those who work in CYS, there are a variety of benefits such as retirement, access to all recreation facilities, discounted childcare, training, and commissary/PX privilege. If you're interested in working with children, we have a position for you. Come on out and see what available opportunities await you. My next and my final is a little bit long. This is the final environmental impact statement for PTA, Pohakuloa Training Area. So, proposed action. The Army is proposing to retain approximately 22,750 acres of state-owned land at PTA, which has been leased since 1964, in support of continued military activities. The proposed action is a real estate action. It does not include construction or changes to ongoing activities. Alternatives. The action alternatives for the proposed actions range from maximum retention to minimum retention and access. Under the no action alternative, the Army would not retain any of the state-owned land. Consequently, the Army would no longer fund or manage resource management actions and public use programs on the state-owned land. Preferred alternative. Alternative 2 is a modified retention alternative where the Army would retain approximately 19,700 acres of the state-owned land and all U.S. government-owned utilities and associated access in the state-owned land. EIS process. Once the FEIS is published on 18 April 25, so already happened, a 30-day waiting period will begin upon that date. During this time, comments submitted to the government may be considered for incorporation to the record of decision if previously addressed. The record of decision may be processed immediately following the 30-day waiting period should no substantive comments need be addressed. Background. This environmental impact statement is a joint NEPA federal HEPA state document. So the EIS, Environmental Impact Statement, meets both requirements and the public involvement processes are being run concurrently. The EIS scoping virtual open house and 40-day scoping period occurred in the fall of 2020. The original DEIS was published in April of 2022, and agency recommendations on the first draft were significant enough for the Army to publish a second draft for the public to review. A second draft EIS was published 19 April to 23 April 24, followed by a 45-day public comment period and 2 public meetings. That's all I have on the environmental impact statement. In general, for any concerns, please call the new community concern line for U.S. Army Garrison Hawaii at 808-787-1528. We also welcome emails at usag.hawaii.comrel@army.mil. That's all I have.
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
And just before we open up to questions, just as a reminder, that FEIS is specifically for Pohakuloa on the Big Island.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for the United States Army at this time? Les.
Does the EIS or does the Army command have any type of cleanup? I guess land cleanup that they have, like in the past, it was like shells and bullet casings and whatever that was in the land at certain places like Kualavi. And, back in history shows that, that we're talking about EIS, so environmental impact with the bullet shells on the, sovereign Hawaiian land or Hawaii lands. What type of cleanup does the Army leadership and have in place to clean up after they finish training programs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's constant cleanup going on at the training area. It's part of what we're obligated to do under the current land lease agreement is constant cleanup. Anytime there's training going on, there's cleanup subsequently following it. And there's also some sort of initiatives taken out there for improving the environment as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Emil, you have a question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just, you mentioned that the lease started 1964.
Sir.
Are there any like cycles where you have to renew or?
Yeah, so this environmental impact statement is getting ready for the renewal, which will be, I think, in about a year or two. So that's the two different actions, the alternatives. We're trying to retain the entire 22,000 acres, but there's the alternatives, which is retaining none of it or retaining the 19,000 that's been proposed.
So when it's renewed, for how many years is it renewed for?
I'm not sure how they're going to negotiate that.
Like in the past, how was this? What was the segments? I mean, how?
I'm not sure how long.
Sure. Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
I see further questions. Anne, you have your hand up.
I do. Leslie kind of addressed what I wanted to ask. So in the environmental impact statement, does that include the deactivation of munitions that are unexploded ordnance on that land?
Yeah, anything that goes on the training area is part of the environmental impact statements that are being done.
Okay, so I just want to tell you that I watched a piece on last week tonight in which it's been verified that there's a lot of unexploded ordnance still in Pohakuloa, and the possibility that that also is leaching into the groundwater, which we don't want another, Red Hill going on. So I just pass that on to you. And I want to thank you for your service, Captain Block, but I know it's above your pay grade, but, let those folks know. And for us on the neighborhood board, maybe we need to get someone senior in here to talk to us about what they're doing about unexploded ordnance or ordnance that's left there that leaches into the groundwater. That's all I have.
I have actually, Chair, has a question. When is the deadline for comments?
I have to look.
Just so that everyone, since there's a lot of interest, they can write this down.
So it was published on April 18th. There's 30 days from that date to make comments.
So May.
So about May 17th. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. I see a hand up from Skylar. Go ahead, Member Ross.
Hello, Captain Block. Just a quick question. Do you have any further updates or information regarding the service member that was found in their car at Wheeler on Amelia Earhart Street in the parking lot?
I don't have any updates for that.
Okay. Are there any final questions for? Yes, go ahead, Darsha.
Just to clarify, how do you submit comments? I know you gave the phone number, but was there a separate way that you would submit comments?
The comments can be submitted through that number or through the email I provided.
Could you restate the email?
Yeah.
For the record,
I
thank you.
can. It's usag.hawaii.comrel@army.mil.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your presentation. It was very enlightening.
Thank you.
We'll see you next month.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, next up, we have Kathleen Pahinui from Board of Water Supply. She's online.
Aloha. Thank you, Chair. I appreciate it, board members. Happy almost end of April. I'm pleased to report there were no main breaks in your community in the last month. And we just again want to remind people to check their toilets for leaks. This has been Detect a Leak Week, month at BWS. And if you want to check your toilets, we recommend using dye tablets. If you'd like some dye tablets, we can get them to you for free. You can call me at 808-748-5319. And I will personally deliver them to you since you're on my way home. So that's all I have to report tonight. Are there any questions?
The amazing service from the Honolulu Board of Water Supply, folks. Are there any questions, members of the board, members of the public? Are there any questions for Honolulu Board of Water Supply tonight? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Kathleen.
Aloha. Take care. Bye.
Okay, next up we have School Facilities Authority. Sherry, thank you for being here tonight.
Aloha, Chair and members of the board. Sherry Nakamura from the School Facilities Authority. I don't have much to update today. We are waiting for the legislative session to complete, and so everything is up for negotiation. And in particular for our project, it is any kind of state contribution for the project. So we're patiently waiting for the adjournment of the session so that we can have some clarity on what resources we might have from the legislature.
Okay, thank you. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Sherry Nakamura from School Facilities Authority? Actually, I have one question.
Sure.
There was a lot of discussion. Well, you did announce in February that you're moving the location.
Yes.
Has there been any follow-up information on the cost to that or estimate?
There hasn't been anything determined. We have to basically wait for what kind of contribution the state is willing to provide.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you next month.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, we're moving right along. It's 7:54 and go straight into presentations. I'd like to welcome Dr. Sandra Noon, who is Hawaii Pacific Health Chief of the Primary Care, and Miss Director Preston Kim, who directs the Mililani Clinic. They'll be providing an update on the new Mililani Straub facility located in the Mililani Town Center. Welcome.
Thank you. We have a slide deck if that can be shared.
Yes, I think Rachel's pulling it up right now.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you for inviting us. It's nice that we can come and present where we are with the new Straub Benioff Mililani Town Center Clinic. relocation. We're moving right across into the parking lot next to Popeyes. And so we wanted to give you an update as to where we are and what's going to happen next. Next slide. So some of the background is that, we've been in the Mililani Town Center since 1988. So we've been there for a long time. We've recognized for a while that we have much more demand than what we've been able to provide service for. So we've known that we've needed to grow. That's why we're in 2 clinics now at Mililani Shopping Center and at the Town Center. And we were trying to provide that capacity. And now we're going to be in 1 building again, starting in end of August, beginning of September, where we're being optimistic, but we really think we're going to be able to get in there by then. We just want to thank, I don't know if they have any of the Straub Mill or the Mililani Town Center leadership on this call, but it's been wonderful. They've been great partners in developing this building and working with us to try to meet that demand that's in the community. So the new clinic, when it's open, will be the largest clinic that we have in our system. It'll be 24,000 square feet and we have 55 exam rooms. We'll have double the capacity of primary care providers that we've had historically. So we'll be able to meet that primary care demand that has been out there. We'll have an urgent care. We've intermittently had walk-in clinics available and it's been in high demand when we've had it. So we know when we bring that back, people will be providing a service that's been much needed. We'll have many of the visiting subspecialties as well. Next slide. I think I have some of that on that slide. So primary care, urgent care, which is new. We've had pediatrics. They finally get to move into a nice big space. Have an OB-GYN and dermatologies. Those 2 specialists will be resident specialists and then the visiting specialists that you see on that bottom line. The same imaging that we've had with plain X-ray and mammogram, and then lab as we've always had with more capacity. Next slide. This is kind of small, and I can't see it from here, but what I can tell you, just based on what I know about this plan, on the left-hand side, that big open space is this beautiful atrium. You guys are going to love it when you see it. Nice. We know that when people come to see us in a healthcare facility, even I'm a physician. I've been a physician for almost 30 years. And it's still anxiety producing for me as a patient. So we wanted to create this nice welcoming facility that, where people can hopefully take down some of the anxiety they feel when they come to see us. So the intention of that space is to be welcoming and open. That bottom half is going to be primary care. It's going to be dedicated to primary care. And what we do in our organization is team-based care. So we have behaviorists, we have APRNs and PAs that are parts of our team. We have some clinical pharmacy support, care managers, and other people that can really help us manage what we think is great care delivery and comprehensive primary care. That top half will be our urgent care. Next slide. And on our second floor will be where our specialty, our pediatric care will be in our specialists. And so a nice big 2-story clinic. We're very excited. Next. This is what it looks like on the outside currently. It looks like it's ready on the outside. Next slide. This is what it looks like on the inside. So as you can see, we have the outside built. We're working on the inside. And once the clinic is finished, we have a lot of moving in to do still. And we're going to be practicing that wonderful team-based care that I was telling you about. We have those new team members, and now we need to kind of redesign our workflows. And I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. But as you can see, it's going to be a beautiful clinic. Next. So this clinic is how we see it as a clinic of the future. So part of it is that wonderful technology that is out there. We want to use this to engage our patients. So part of what will be different about these workflows is getting our patients more engaged in how they check in, how they check out. Our PCPs will be using, and we're already piloting AI powered technology to help us with note writing so that we can focus on you as patients rather than on the computer. And then our urgent care, there will be slots for self-scheduling, as well as a better estimate in terms of what the wait times are. We anticipate that the throughput in this clinic will be better because we'll have more rooms available per provider. So we are very hopeful that this will be a very positive experience for those folks in the community. And then next slide. So Preston, so as we're talking about, I'm gonna cue you up, Preston, as we're talking about what, building this big clinic and providing more of this capacity for care, the reality that I think those who are business folks in the community realize is it's hard to find a workforce. It's certainly challenging for a lot of reasons. And so one of the ways that Preston's going to tell you about one of the ways that we at HBH are trying to help solve that problem.
So I left some flyers at the front for you folks, but we wanted to talk about a new program that with Hawaii Pacific out that we're doing. It's called an AHI program, and it's the Academic Innovation Center that we're going to do. But basically, it's Academy for Healthcare Innovation, and we're offering some services for, like, if anybody's interested in healthcare, services that we want to do, or people who want interest in is like medical assistant, nurse aide, surgical instrument processing technicians, or surgical technologist. So if anybody's interested, this is for people who are adults who are looking for a career, or a career that maybe they had an interest in healthcare but couldn't go into the college career pathway. But it's a pathway that we are representing for us, and this program is going to start at the end of the summer, like around June, July, but we are going to be accepting applicants. On the form or the flyer itself, there's a contact us at the info@ahihawaii.org, and there's also a phone number that you guys can also call as well if you express interest into this program. But it is to help our communities find healthcare career pathways, and even it's a stepping stone for people who want to just get their feel in the medical field, but also maybe expand that to maybe something else later down the line, like an RN or something more advanced in that, but to dabble into the healthcare field. So giving that opportunity to high school people and also for adults.
And I think that is it. And so we want to field any questions that you might have, or even hear feedback.
Well, thank you for coming tonight. Members of the board, members of the public, of course, are there any questions for Straub? We'll go with Emil, followed by Dennis, followed by Catherine.
Oh, thank you for the presentation. There's a statewide shortage of doctors. It's almost like, maybe 800 now. And you said that it's hard to find the workforce. So are we looking in the future being treated by AI? Even, you mentioned something on your slides that, we will probably, some of it will be probably answered by that. It's maybe why you're looking for some technical people which know how to program, because that's what AI needs. Yeah. So is it going to be more or less human interaction?
So I'm a primary care physician. So I'm going to tell you no, because honestly, it's the human connection. And there is so much more about, and when I just think about my own, what I do as a PCP, there's so much more that I can do that I don't think AI is going to be capable of anytime soon. And so I don't think that's going to happen. Where AI helps is to help unload me, where it makes sense to unload me so I can do what I do best. And same thing with other members on my team. So I see it as a tool that I can use that can help me do a better job.
Yeah. Okay, Dennis.
Okay, two questions real quick. First is the floor plan. Which is the location of the front entryway? Is it facing the theater or the road, or?
So the entrance will be facing the UFC. If you got UFC, where you see UFC, the front entrance is that way by the UFC entrance.
Okay, yeah, that was the first question. Okay, the
If you
second
go back
one,
to the old clinic.
it just looks like a square building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, the second one is the academy. Are the people that get accepted to that training in Mililani or throughout the whole system?
Well, one of our platforms that we're going to use the training for is Waipi'o High School. So that will be one of the areas where the classroom will take place. And usually the classes will take place in the evenings. So we're looking curriculum wise in the evenings, because I know people work, or like if you're an adult and a working adult and then you need to go to class, we're trying to look at those classes to be after hours.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Catherine. Catherine, can you use the mic?
Room care?
Microphone for the people online. Thank you.
Will you be having emergency room care at this facility?
It won't be a standalone ER. We will have urgent care. So think of care up to the point of when they would need an emergency room care. If you have you ever been to an urgent care before? So you cut yourself, we can sew it up. If you break a bone, we can typically splint it or cast it. If you need extensive workup like a CT or MRI, or you end up, or you have chest pain, that's where emergency room would be a better place of care.
Sorry, Catherine, microphone, please. Thank
Sorry,
you.
I've had to go to Polymomy Pro Ridge because several times, but sometimes my son would drive me, but I've had to drive there twice by myself, and I had irritation of my eyes because of the fog, but I didn't know what happened to my eyes. I didn't know it was that. So
I think for things like that, we'll be able to help you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I see that we have another question from Marilyn. You have a question? Okay.
I just had two short questions because I know you're probably anxious to leave. But how many dermatologists do you have?
We have one.
Oh, okay. That's
One very busy.
Dr.
running
Gina,
through the
yeah.
three- Dr. Grima, yes.
okay. I'm a Queens patient and I've been going to town a long way, and I wanted to have somebody closer to town. So she was recommended, and I finally got an appointment, but it took a long, long time. So I understand there's only one. My second question is your parking is all private, right? Or can anybody else park in the lot in front of your place?
There are some designated slots that will be specifically for patients, but otherwise it's the parking that is designated as Mililani Town Center. So it's not specific
Really?
to the clinic.
Okay, because it's been really hard to find a place to park at the pet store. But so hopefully when construction is done, that'll clear up. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to respond about the parking because that was one thing that when we were getting ready to build the clinic and we were going to take up parking lot space that we addressed. And so we looked at how many spots were we going to need, and we actually have 1,000 more than what we would need otherwise for the additional clientele, if you will, that would come in with the clinic.
It looks like a very compact building. Well, thank you very much for coming.
It is a compact.
Just a follow-up question. When does the AHI program begin?
It'll be at the end of June, so June 30th.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for, okay, please come up to the microphone, introduce yourself for the record and address the question. Thank you.
I don't see you, but my hip. Good evening. All right. My name is Robin Nelson. My question pertains to behavioral health programs. So with mental health advocate, when it comes to behavioral health programs that this location will be providing, is there any inpatient care? What would that look like for the people of Mililani? Thank you very much.
So the behavioral health services will be those that are tied into primary care. So part of our comprehensive primary care is that we have a behaviorist that is a part of our primary care team. Unfortunately, that doesn't entail any inpatient services. And those behavioral health services would be for those patients that are being taken care of by our PCPs, not as a standalone service.
Okay. I see a question at Sabrina. Go ahead.
Did you build this facility on leased land, or do you own the land you built it on?
The building is actually owned by Town Center.
Are there any further questions from members of the board or members of the public? Yes, you would, for the record, please introduce yourself and ask your question.
Good evening, Val Okimoto here. I had a quick question. So the current clinic, that's going to be closed down and all of that will be relocated. Would that be still used as a separate venue, like how you have two separate right now, or is everything going to be in the big building?
Good question. We don't know yet. We don't know yet, but we are seriously looking at keeping that space and providing it more services. We're still investigating that.
I just want to say thank you. My daughters are anxious. They've been going to this clinic since birth. So we're looking forward to the pediatrics opening up. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, are there any other questions? Ed?
What will be the general hours of the clinic?
Well, right now we are, our PCPs start as early as 7 and some go as late as 6. And that is Monday through Saturday.
Then when urgent care opens up, we will be open from 8 p.m. So our urgent care hours would be, we're a 7-day-week operation and we open it. So clinic is opening time would be like as soon as 7 o'clock in the morning, when usually our first primary care doctor starts or dermatology starts, depending on our specialty services. But our urgent care hours would be 7 days a week, open 24, I mean, not 24 day, but like, all days of the year, even including holidays, 10 a.m. to.
Okay, final call. Are there any other questions? Had quite a bit tonight for you guys. Sounds like everyone's very excited about this new facility. It's long overdue. You guys are growing, and it's really good to see you folks expand in the Mililani area. And I think we're very interested in, what this facility is going to look like. Feel free to come back, before opening, after opening, and we'd love to work with you guys. Thank you
That
so much.
sounds great. And thank you to the community. I've been a PCP here since 2016 and I love it. I live in Kailua and I come here because I love this community. So.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are actually planning to do like a soft opening on, I think it's
In the mic.
Oh, sorry, a soft opening more towards August. I think it's going to be on a Saturday. We're going to do hosting like clinic tours. I think it's going to tie in with something with that we've been working with the landlord with the town center on a Saturday. That I think it's a jam event that's happening. I believe it was August 16th, but don't quote me on that. But that we're working with them on that to see if we can do something there where we will do like tours for the clinic prior to opening.
Very exciting. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, we're chugging right along. I'd like to move on to the next presentation. I'd like to welcome Dr. Kealoha Fox, who serves as the Deputy Director of the City and County Honolulu Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency. Members, she is here to present on the City and County of Honolulu's Climate Action Plan. Welcome, Dr. Fox, and happy Earth Week.
Happy Earth Week, happy Earth Month, aloha, mahalo Chair Bass and members. I especially want to thank Council Member Okimoto, Council Member Wire, Rep, I think Trish LaChica is on, and Rep Peruso is also on. So just thank you all so much. Kealoha Fox, Deputy Chief Resilience Officer for the City and County of Honolulu. I'm also the Deputy Director for Mayor Blangiardi's Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency. We have two handouts that I would love to share around, and one is going to be about our community workshops for our climate action plan that I'll talk about a little bit more, and then I'll also share about our EKI art contest that's open to all ages and art mediums. So thank you all so much just for the time really quickly tonight. So what's the city's climate action plan? We actually have one in place now. The city first adopted one in 2021. It was a 5-year plan and the time is up. So it's time for us to renew our goals, and we want to do two things. We want to increase our renewable energy generation, and we want to decrease our greenhouse gas emission reduction to levels that are best for our community by 2030. So we're in that process now. And then the plan that we have will actually go to our council members, what we expect to be in December, maybe January, and then it will go for the council members to be able to review. What we're doing now for the whole year is to make sure that there's plenty of opportunities for community input to help us develop this plan so that our council members know that everybody had an opportunity to weigh in. And so that's something that I really wanted to share. And there's opportunities for us tonight to think about what community-centered solutions would look like for us to reduce carbon pollution and also emphasize affordability and quality of life all across the island of Oahu. we're focused on a few things right now. So we have a CAP steering committee. That steering committee is helping us with 9 months of work. Our community engagement sessions are being planned in all different districts, and we can definitely come back when we have our draft plan, which is slated for July. We're focused on 5 areas right now in our climate action plan. And so we're looking at actions and solutions for transportation, community energy solutions, waste, and then we've added 2 new areas for this second plan compared to the first: sustainable communities and food systems. We know all of these areas interact with our everyday lives. And so we want to make sure that the city has a great plan in place that integrates not only what our office does, but all different departments and offices and agencies under the city council's purview. So how can you get involved? One, we have an amazing website that we've launched. So I want to just read that out for folks that we have online with us. That's www.resilientoahu.org/CAP community, CAP community. We also have an open email that anyone can contact us through anytime if you want access to our materials. And if you want to find out where these community workshops events are, energyprogram@honolulu.gov. And so there's 2 workshops I really wanted to plug. On Tuesday, May 13th at 4:30 to 6:30 at the Pearl City Public Library, we'll have a 2-hour session. And then later on Monday, June 9th, we'll be at Waialua Elementary from 6:30 to 8:30. Those are the ones that are closest to Mililani, but we have them all throughout the island. So we're up next in Kahuku in just a few days. I'm happy to share more information. And then I also want to just share on behalf of the mayor's team, we'll all be here tomorrow for the town hall right here back at Mililani High School. So I'd be happy to open it up for any questions that you would have, Chair.
Mahalo. Are there members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Dr. Fox from the City and County of Honolulu? If, please raise your hand. Yes, Emil.
Just a quick question. With all this dodge going on, do you get any information about if some of those departments like yours, for example, will be cut or,
Very good question. Yes, thank you for the question, neighborhood board member. So the federal government has its own responsibilities to reduce pollution and to also increase quality of life, just like the state government does, which is very separate than core municipal services under the purview of the City and County of Honolulu. So our office is attached directly to the office of the mayor. So I have the pleasure to serve Mayor Blangiardi during this administration. And so there are stop gaps and there are buffers in there of what the federal reach can do at any city level, which is why these city plans that are happening all across the country right now for climate action are so important, because what we can do at the local level is critical compared to what we might be waiting for to happen at the federal level. Great question.
Members, are there any further questions? I see Brandon has a question. Go ahead, Brandon.
Aloha, sorry, I didn't catch the dates and the locations for the events at the end of your presentation. Could you repeat those?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All of our dates are on our website, resilientoahu.org.
1 second. Brandon, thank you. Could you microphone or mute your mic? Thank you.
It's like being on the radio. Yeah. I love it. So Brandon, the ones that I specifically called out were Tuesday, May 13th at Pearl City Public Library. That's 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. And then Monday, June 9th at Waialua Elementary. That's 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And then there's many others: Ainahaina, Waimanalo, Waianae, Ma'anoa, and then we'll be at Kahuku in a couple of days.
Thank you.
Any further questions, members of the board? Yes, Darsha, go ahead.
At these events that you're talking about, will there be a portion that talks about, I know you mentioned affordability. I think a lot of people, they want to be sustainable. They like green initiatives, but the affordable part of it, like, how do I pay my electric bill? It's so high. And what are the sources that we're going to be able to get energy from? will there be a portion that kind of goes into the affordability portion of like contributing to this?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for asking that question. I just paid my HECO bill and my Board of Water Supply bill before I came here. So I was happy to see Kathleen Pahinui from BWS online. It is an absolute paramount priority for our administration to make sure that we're addressing cost of living in any of the solutions our departments and agencies are putting forward under Mayor Blangiardi. And we're really committed to making sure that we're thinking about affordability, we're thinking about time scale, and we're also thinking about our residents that we want to stay and live here for many more generations to come. And so all of that is being factored into what goals will actually make it into this 5-year plan. So we have evaluation criterion that are looking at all of these different factors. And if something is too exorbitant in the cost, that's definitely one of the assessment criterion that we're making sure that we have really important conversations around.
All right. Are there any final questions for Dr. Fox? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Thank you so much. I would love to come back. And please do, anyone who can, please enter our EKI art contest. This is for our Oahu Food Systems Plan, which, Chair, at your pleasure, maybe we can come back in a future board meeting and share a little bit about that work too.
Certainly.
Okay, great. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, folks, we're going to move on to this agenda, and we're going to recognize any community concerns at this time. So is there any community member who would like to come forward to express any comment or concern within decorum within our community? Please limit your comments for 2 minutes per each issue for items not on this agenda at this time. Okay, seeing and hearing none, we're going to move right along. Thank you. We're going to move into board business. At this time, I'd like to kick it over and recognize our board secretary, Secretary Gustafson, for the minutes.
The minutes for our last meeting on February 26th were sent out with the agenda. Does anybody have any corrections or revisions? If there are none, then I move to approve the minutes.
Okay, so since we didn't hear any discussions on any amendments, we'll approve the minutes as written. Thank you.
All right, excellent. It's 8:22 and we're on reports of chairs and board committees. Great job, everybody. At this point, don't really have much of a chair's report. Took the time off for our March recess to also relax like so many of you. So if there aren't any questions for me, we can proceed. Okay, and on to Alex Ozawa for the community partnerships and community outreach.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Just a short report for today. Thanks to some help from our chair, we've continued making a couple of posts onto our Instagram and Facebook pages, including one for the blood drive that was today that reached over 4,000 impressions on Instagram. So please let me know if you guys have any suggestions for posts to make for events happening in our community, and I can take any questions.
Questions for Alex, members? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Thank you, Alex, for that. I'm going to move on to Josie, Community Recognition and Service Awards.
I have no thank you.
Okay, questions, comments for Josie? Moving on. Martina Segura was previously online. Okay, I don't see her online anymore. Please continue to put in information in your neighborhood board walk form for updates to help the city to see if they need any lights or traffic lights, traffic signage, painting, sidewalks that need repair and maintenance so that we can continue to provide this form to the city and county of Honolulu. Moving on to planning and zoning, sustainable development, and climate resilience. Trevor's not here. And transportation and OMPO. Skylar Ross still online? Nope. Okay, military affairs, emergency management. Dennis, any report?
We had an emergency fair, but it was put on by a private company, so no report on the emergency side.
Okay, are there any questions for Dennis, members? Okay, thank you, Dennis. Darsha, Health, Houselessness, and Human Services.
I just wanted to say, and I was super happy to see it in both Councilmember Val Okimoto's report as well as the governor's report. They did open up Coa Vista, so they're taking applications right now. That's the 55+ community over by Coa Ridge. And I think it's 30, 50, and 60% of the area median income. So if that is your demographic, please apply, get yourself some affordable housing. Thank you. Nothing further.
Thanks, Darsha. Members, any questions for Darsha? Okay. And Parks and Rec, Sabrina.
The City and County of Honolulu Departments of Parks and Rec is doing a study this summer regarding expanding the city parks that are dog friendly. We have been made aware of this and we're hoping to get a presentation set up. Chair and I are going to be working on that. But in the meantime, every board member should have received a press release as well as a direct email regarding this initiative. So read up on it and have your comments ready for the presentation whenever we get that scheduled sometime this summer.
Okay, thank you, Sabrina. Any questions for Sabrina? Yes, Dennis.
Sabrina, I had a question about, there's a construction going on.
Hold on 1 second. And I'm sorry, we're getting feedback. Can you turn off your mic? Thank you. Go ahead, Dennis.
Okay. There's some construction going on at the edge of the park, which is now not developed, but is that something that's being developed over there?
Which park?
I mean, what do you call it? Regional park?
Oh, Corp?
Yeah, you know where the archery range is further.
So they're putting in
Yeah.
they're putting in a sewer line from
that what
Coa
it is?
Ridge down through the park to is it Paiva Street?
Okay.
That's what they're
I
working on.
just saw that construction going on. Thought it was something there.
It's to expand the sewer capabilities of Coa Ridge.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Sabrina? Sorry, Anne, we're still getting feedback from you. So if you can just keep watching your microphone. Okay, next up, Marilyn for the Committee on Education.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a nice report from Jake Kardash at Mililani Upa. He's very faithful. The school did celebrate its 50th anniversary this year. That doesn't seem possible, but there it is, Mililani Uka, and they had a special school assembly, and the students learned about the history of Mililani at the same time, so that was really great. Another good thing they did was, and this is already over, but the grade 4 went on a Big Island trip, and those of you who went to school here know the Big Island trip was always something everybody looked forward to and was really wonderful. I don't know if they got a chance to see the volcanic eruption. And they also did a Lion King Junior performance, and that was really a pretty big thing for them. And they were part of the complex basketball tournament. So we're starting young to develop some good teams for UH. For the high school, I don't have a lot to say there, although I've been at the SEC meetings twice this month. But I would like to thank Cheryl Nakamura. She's been very faithful. She comes every month and she gives us a report on what's happening with the building for teachers. And so we appreciate that very much. May 14th is now the new date for the Golden Scholars Night at the high school. They had to change the night because there was a double booking. And so if you're involved in the Golden Scholars Night, it's on May 14th. And the other thing I want to remind people is that May 25th is graduation. Over 300 students will be graduating, and they'll have the what's now becoming traditional special event for the students, so they don't go out driving around in a go off to a special place and enjoy a big party. I put on your desk the newsletter from the library, and I believe that the library is an educational organization. So they do have a new adult librarian, which should really help a lot with their staffing. And also there's a flyer attached to that, and that is a summer reading program flyer, and that's going to be taking place June 1st to July 31st. And so that's a great thing to have your kids go to. And the last thing is the Friends of Mililani Public Library will have another book sale on May 10th. So be there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Members, are there any questions for Marilyn and her robust report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, thank you so much, Marilyn, for sharing all that information. Thank you, chairs, for your reports. We're going to move on to elected officials' reports. I don't see Nestor here in the room or online. Is he? Did I miss him? No, I don't see him. Okay, so we're going to move on to welcome Tony, who will be giving Governor Josh Green's report.
Hi, I'm Tony Schwartz, representing Governor Green. Thank you, Chair Bass and members of the board for having me today. It's been a little while, so I'm playing catch up. I decided to just go after some of the questions that you guys asked to see if there were any updates, and the two main ones being about the Kipapa Gulch Bridge or Roosevelt Bridge. One was the cracks. So DOT said, and I would like to say thank you to Michael. Board member Michael Dow for passing along the photos. That helped a lot. DOT sent their bridge crew to check out the cracks, and they determined it's falling beneath the joint seal material. So last check, they're coordinating with their maintenance section on repairs, and I will provide further updates on completion date when at our next meeting. It's also one of DOT's central federal land partnership projects, so they're also checking with the feds on that too. The Kipapa Gulch Bridge historic sign that member Marilyn Lee brought up, they mentioned that before the rehabilitation project, so they got word from DOT bridge design section that there was no record of a sign in the as-built drawings for the new bridge. That doesn't mean there wasn't a sign there. It just means there's no recordings of it. And they are trying to find something that shows this historic sign. Everyone knows it was there. We all do. And they're trying to do the research right now to find anything. So they're asking if the board and anyone else in the community has pictures to please send them to the board so that we can get those to DOT. That would be very helpful. And those are the two things that I had outstanding. So if there's any questions, I'm here.
Okay, members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Tony Schwartz for representing the governor's office tonight? Yes, Sabrina.
There seems to be an ongoing traffic issue on Cam Highway after Kuahilani Avenue and the McDonald's. There's a private business that's doing safety inspections, and people are lining up on Cam Highway. I called the police. They seem to not really be able to do anything, but I don't know if we can get a traffic study done or somebody go out and watch what's happening. I mean, they're lining up on the right-hand lane. Almost the day I almost ran into somebody was all the way up to the Hawaiian Tel building. It was that long. I don't know what they're doing or what discount they're giving on their safety inspections, but I think it needs to be studied.
Yeah, I'm aware of that one. I see that one all the time. I do know that a lot of other places stopped doing safety checks, so it's probably why they're so busy. But I can check on that for you. I'm not quite sure where to check though, so I'll ask around.
Maybe a list. Can we put together a list of places that do safety inspections we could publicize? That might be helpful.
Are there any other questions for the governor's office? Members of the board, members of the public, any questions? Oh, Anne, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so I just wanted to pass on information is, that I did some research and that station there is the only one left until Waipi'o that's doing safety inspection. So during pandemic, that something needs to be done to address that problem. Because it means that people are gonna wind up with fines late
you,
for
Anne.
their.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
There's some debate. I'm hearing some whispers from other board members of another station open. That's not for discussion right now of what's available. I mean, DOT would like to share what safety check areas are available in the Mililani area. We can come back and bring that back in May, but I don't want to engage in a debate on who's open and what business. I don't think that's appropriate for this board report from the governor's office. Are there any other questions for the governor's office at this time? Actually, I have a question. I did meet with Senator Kidani's office, and I'm sorry to see, I don't know if I see their staff here, but our board has long fought for a sidewalk on Kamehameha Highway. This predates, this is over like 10 years ago type of thing. We've been on the record for that. We've passed resolutions for that. Senator Kidani and Representative Yamane put that CIP in, it lapsed, and then they put that CIP in again. I believe that last CIP entrance was, passage, that appropriation, that was in 2022. So we're coming close to our 3 years on that capital improvement project. And I would like to ask the state when they're going to begin that important project that our board has been on the record in supporting for over a decade.
Are you referring to the area by Kipapa? Or is it?
This is Kamehameha Highway. It's actually from Mililani all the way to Lani Kuhana. There's a crosswalk that needs to be repainted and redone, but mainly the sidewalks from Mehiula Parkway to Lani Kuhana Avenue, they've never been made. So there are existing sidewalks from Kuahilani Avenue to Mehiula Parkway on Cam Highway, but there are no existing sidewalks from Mehiula Parkway to Lani Kuhana. And that was a huge safety issue for this board. I believe the previous vice chair and the previous chair of this board 10 years ago elevated this conversation because they did see people in wheelchairs rolling on Cam Highway because there was no sidewalk access from Mehiula Parkway to Lani Kuhana. So that's why this has been a constant interest for our board. And I'm just would like an update on whether that's going to be initiated before the CIP money lapses. Okay, thank you. Any other questions, members? Okay, seeing and hearing none, thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on to Tracy from City and County of Honolulu representing the mayor's office. Welcome, Tracy.
Good evening, Chair, members. Tracy Kubota, Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative. Thank you, Dr. Fox, for already announcing that the town hall is tomorrow night. So hope to see all of you guys here again tomorrow night, same time, well, 7 o'clock, here at Mililani High School in the cafeteria. So a couple things on the table, mayor's report, state of the city information, just in case you didn't grab one. I have some lengthy responses to questions from last month. So let me start with the first one regarding rail. So last month we were asked, would the rail in Honolulu be targeted? In California, the new Department of Efficiency is going after the rail system. For example, they've been sending letters or warnings to entities for not meeting efficiency standards. The response provided from HART was that the question asked whether Honolulu rail system will be targeted. We assume the question is in regards to whether any federal funding for the rail project is at risk of being reduced. While there has been media attention regarding potential federal defunding of California's high-speed rail project, HART has not received any warnings or indications of similar actions. The Honolulu Rail project continues to meet all performance and funding milestones outlined in the Federal Transit Administration's amended full funding grant agreement. Second question regarding rail was, will the tax on the rail increase or will there be additional taxes as we proceed with the building of the remaining sections? HART's response is that there are currently no plans to increase any form of taxes or implement new taxes to fund rail construction. HART's current financial plan, including the recent award of the City Center Guideway and Stations contract, is structured to operate within existing funding sources. Moving on to the next question regarding speed humps on Lani Kuhana Avenue between Kamayo Street and Luapali Place. Can speed humps be installed between those streets? There's been a number of crashes into light poles, fences, walls, etc. And it's a safety concern. But I just summarized the question, and I have to read from my phone because we got a recent update from Department of Transportation Services, which then provides this. DTS completed their investigation regarding the recent traffic calming devices on Lani Kuhana Avenue between Kamayo Street and Luapali Place, which included a review of the area's traffic collision history, a site inspection, and a speed survey. As a result, DTS is installing a shoulder parking lane on both sides of Lani Kuhana Avenue from Awiki Street to Kapu'u Loop, northern intersection, which will narrow the travel lane narrow the travel lane from 20 feet to 10 feet in both directions, and street parking will be retained within the narrowing effect should help to encourage speed compliance in the area. In addition, DTS is requesting that HPD monitor the area for speeding and consider placing a speed feedback trailer to caution motorists of their speed in the area. Generally, mitigative measures are implemented on a tiered basis with the least intrusive measures applied first. Therefore, speed humps are not recommended at this time. A work order for reference paint and sign work was issued to Department of Facility Maintenance to install pavement markings and to replace the missing speed limit 25-mile-per-hour sign near Kamayo Street. And if we have any other additional updates, needs for replacing signs, please let us know. So that's the DTS report and the latest update as of today. The last question was missing street name signs along Huaheahe and Waipi'o Street. This one has Department of Facilities Maintenance response saying that the street name signs of both intersections were replaced on March 7, 2025. I'll take back any other questions you have for next month.
Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Tracy Kubota representing the mayor's office? Emil.
Just quick question. So who can initiate an audit of HART?
Who can initiate an audit of HART? I can check.
Any additional question? Darsha.
I just wanted to pass along a concern. So for Mililani District Park, there's a concern that like the bathroom could be spruced up a little bit. And additionally, the bigger concern was the play structure. Like I've looked at it and like the kids still play on it, but there's where the slide's supposed to be, there's just this wooden board and a hole. So are there any plans to renovate that?
So there's a wooden board and a hole.
You know where like a slide should
Yeah,
be?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there's no slide.
Okay.
But there's that hole still, and there's like this wooden board across the
Oh,
hole.
I see. Okay, across the
Yeah.
hole. Okay, got it. I'll check
Kids
into
still
that
play.
for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Additional questions for Tracy, members? Members of the public? Member Skylar Ross has a question he sent in the chat. He would like to know, will the city be opening up the lane, I guess, this is not correct. The lane, I guess there's an on-ramp lane by the Pearl Highlands station at H1, H2 merge?
By Pearl Highlands, is that what you said?
Yeah, I guess it's a connection road lane of some sort.
The
Chair,
on-ramp lane headed.
We received a report about that a couple months ago, and now it's a dedicated bus lane. It's not open to the public.
Right, so will they be, is it an operation for buses? Is it going?
Oh,
to be-
it's the bus lane in operation.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll
like, would it be open to the public is what I'm reading from this question.
So this is that on that bus only dedicated lane by Pearl Highlands. What is that street that comes in front of the tower? Is that what you're talking
I would believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not, I'm reading.
Okay, yeah, if you can give me a street, then I can at least put that in and I can double check that
Okay.
from board
That's
member
what happens
Ross.
in the chat, you have to be clear.
Is it?
You know what?
Yeah.
I'll have him give me information and I can pass that on to you.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds
any
good.
other questions, members? Members of the public? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Thank you
Thank
so
you very
Teresa.
much.
Okay, moving on. Councilmember Val Okimoto. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board, members of the, both here online and in person, and members of the community. Val Aquino Okimoto, Council Member for District 8. Happy to be here in person. All of you have my written report and I will stand on it. I just want to go over a couple of updates since the report was actually printed. We did have, since the last meeting, I think you guys recessed, we did have a full council meeting both in March and we just held one last week in April on the 16th. Our next full council meeting will be on May 14th. And next week we'll be having our committee hearings. So that will be held on, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be our committee hearings. And since that time, I know in the written report, I have a little legislative update, but since that time, we did have measures passed. So bills 61 and bill 1 passed final reading, and the resolutions that were also in the report have also passed. And they've all been adopted. Bill 60, which is in here, actually, I'm not sure if it was in the report or not, forgive me, but the council has been considering amendments to lower the increased sewer fees and charges proposed by the administration's Bill 60, 2024. That is currently, it is now in second reading. So that is still an ongoing discussion. Amendments to the mayor's proposed operating and capital improvement project budgets are due at the end of this month. We actually have a special CD2 budget meeting set for May 12th, and by ordinance, the council has to approve the city's budget by June 15th. So just to kind of give you some dates on the timelines that we're faced with. Of note, on page 7 of the newsletter, you can see around 17% of the mayor's 3.93 billion fiscal year 2026 operating budget is allocated to fund the police and fire departments and the city's emergency services division. This year's capital improvement project additions for Mililani, my team and my office is requesting 3.75 million for traffic engineering devices, not limited to the restoration of a marked crosswalk and the installation of a refuge island at the intersection of North King Street and Kama Lane, and speed bumps along Hihimanu Street, illuminated and marked crosswalks at Kuaoa Street and Meheula Parkway, and an illuminated crosswalk in Moina Manu Street and Kohelani Avenue. My offices and I are also requesting 1.1 million for Mililani Malka District Park improvements. So this is to plan, design, construct, inspect, and provide related equipment for improvements to the Mililani Malka District Park, including 2 new softball fields with soccer overlay and walkways. And I know that member Marilyn Lee mentioned Mililani Uka having their 50th anniversary. I was able to join them. That was a fun celebration with the kids and all of their talents that they displayed. It's not in this report. You'll probably see it in next month's report, but we were able to have them come join us at the Hale. Principal Kardash was on that field trip with the 4th graders, so he wasn't able to be there, but we had other members of the school come and be recognized. We presented them with an honorary certificate. It was really fun and neat to see the history of the school and acknowledge them for their great accomplishment in their 50th anniversary. Other than that, I want to follow up on some questions from February. I believe board member Lee asked about what the city was doing about the fireworks. So we do have Bill 7 currently still in the city council, in the public safety committee. Actually, I think it's going to, I'm not sure if it's going to budget or EMLA or ILA. Forgive me for not knowing the exact committee, but it did pass first reading in January 29. The purpose of this ordinance is to address fireworks use and violations in the city and county of Honolulu. And this measure was actually introduced by Councilmember Kia Aina and myself as co-introducers. And this is to align the city's ordinances and regulations on fireworks with the states. So if the total weight of the aerial devices or articles, pyrotechnic or display fireworks is 25 pounds or more, Such persons shall be guilty of a Class C felony if the total weight of the aerial devices, articles, pyrotechnic, or display fireworks is less than 25 pounds. They shall be found guilty of a misdemeanor and be punished by imprisonment not exceeding 1 year, a fine of not less than $250, and not more than $2,000. Again, it is still, I believe, in first reading, but it's still in the works. We're trying to amend it, working with our court counsel. And the intent for this measure, again, is to align what we're doing at the city with what the state is doing. Chair Bass, I believe you asked about the substation resolution, resolution 24-267. And that was introduced by me in my office, urging the city administration and the Honolulu Police Department to create a new police substation in Mililani. That resolution passed and was reported out on January 29th, 2025. Copies of this resolution were to be transmitted to the mayor, the managing director, the chief of police, and the chair of the Mililani Waipi'o Neighborhood Board, number 25. That's the last that we've heard of that. So we'll keep following up to see where that project is. And I believe someone did ask my team member about bills relating to animal cruelty. So in the city, we currently don't have any. I will just give a quick report on some measures in the House, and Representative Chico or Matsumoto or whoever is connected to this can expound on it. But the House actually had two bills, HB 980 and HB 698, relating to animal cruelty, and another one amends the law authorizing of the killing of mongoose by clarifying circumstances under which mongoose may be killed, again, related to animal cruelty. So HB 980 was deferred on March 17th in committee, and HB 698 relating to animal cruelty, which amends the criminal penalties for various animal cruelty offenses by increasing the category of offense up to a Class B felony, one specific. That currently is in conference committee. I believe this last was actually just yesterday, the 23rd. But I'll let the legislators expound on that and correct me if I'm wrong. That's just the record that I have. That question came to my office and myself. So I will stand on that, and I think that's all I had. I'll gladly take any questions at this time.
Thank you. And thank you for passing that resolution.
Thank you. Thank you for being patient, and we will continue to advocate for what we can for our committee's public safety.
Mahalo. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Councilmember Okimoto? Mike?
Yeah, the fire department, that new Bell helicopter, is that online yet? I see it flying, but I never see it in any rescue or anything.
From my understanding, that is not, they're still in training.
Oh, okay, how much longer would it take? It looks like a good helicopter, be a good platform to use instead of the.
I can ask
Q5.
the department and get an exact date. I'm not aware of the exact date. I know that they were, with it comes a lot of maintenance and training.
Yeah, because I mean, they can sling load people into the helicopter where the Hughes 500, they have to lift them and carry maybe a few miles, which is extremely dangerous, first of all, but to get them in the helicopter and fly is way better.
Definitely, yeah, it's definitely a huge asset for the city and for our community's public safety. Thank you.
Dennis, you have a question.
Animal cruelty. So somebody shoots a cat or a dog, it's animal cruelty. But when you have feral chickens and feral cats and other animals, is that considered animal cruelty if you remove them from your property or whatever?
Yeah, in our dealings with the Humane Society, they've come to the council and we've asked them, we had a couple of measures relating to the cats and the chickens. Our instructions were, we bring them to the Humane Society, the cats, the chickens, I'm not sure, but the cats, and they have the resources to then spay or neuter them. But the person then has to take it back to wherever they found them. So that is the currently the Humane Society's instructions to us to take to the communities. Other than that, I'm not sure. I know that feral chickens have been an issue from when I was in the state legislature. There have been measures. I think we've had some things floating around, but nothing concrete. Maybe, again, I'm not sure if the ledge has more updated information on that. I know their focus may have been on more pressing issues at this time, but I will not speak on their behalf.
So ask the Humane Society.
For as far as the cats, that's the instructions that we've been given from the Humane Society, but definitely you can ask them for more clarification. What they told us was, if you catch them, they were not going to go out and catch them. Whoever catches them has to bring them to the facility. They will spare neuter them for free. And then that person then has to take them back to where they found them.
Okay, thank you.
Members of the board, members of the public, are there any additional questions for Councilmember Okimoto's office? Darsha.
I was just wondering about the 25 pounds for Bill 7. Is there a significance to that number, or how did they choose it?
Right now, we're trying, again, I think the intent is to align it with what the state does. I'm not sure of all the details, but I know that the city ordinance, the city measures right now were less than what the state had. So we're trying to align them or whatever. And if the state, with this bill passing, again, we're working on the wording with our corporation council. If the state changes their wording or their verbiage, then ours will also change. That's what we're trying to do to align it. So that's the intent of these numbers that have been input into the bill.
All right, any additional questions for Councilmember Okimoto at this time? Josie.
For the just mentioned regarding the fireworks, are they still taking testimony?
When it comes back into committee and full council, yes, that will be, testimonies will be accepted. Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your report.
Thank you. Happy belated Easter, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, I see that we have Chelsea online representing Councilmember Wire's office.
Hi, good afternoon or good evening, everybody. Yes, you have me tonight. I know our staff representative is typically Kelly, but she is on vacation currently, so you'll have her at the next board meeting. I wanted to just thank Councilmember Okimoto for such a thorough report. I'll just pull out a couple of things that maybe wasn't mentioned, although I appreciate how thorough it was. Okay, so I think the only thing that I can maybe share that is some pretty good news that's different is Bill 18, CD1, which allows the city to lead by example in reducing plastic waste by restricting the sale of single-use plastic bottles and vending machines at city facilities. It passed third reading. There is a part, though, I do want to highlight. We wanted to highlight that it comes with an exemption for participants of the blind vendor program. And we just recognize that the blind vendor program partners with a lot of city property to do vending, and that's a source of income for this population of folks. So it did pass third reading at the last full council on April 16th. We're also monitoring, I see we have our state representatives on board here, but just wanted to highlight that our office continues to monitor the landfill bills over at the state. And one of the bills that we're taking a look at here, House Bill 969, it looks like it's going to conference, and those Senate conferees, the members on both the House and Senate side have been appointed to that committee. So we're just going to be monitoring for any updates as that bill moves along. And that's the end of my report. If there were questions at the last board, Kelly did tell me there wasn't, unfortunately, any updates. So for me to give a response to those questions. So I appreciate the time, and I could take questions back to the team.
Thank you, Chelsea. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Chelsea representing Councilmember Wire's office? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Thank you so much, Chelsea.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, is there a representative? I know Trevor's not here tonight. Is there a representative for Senator Kidani's office online? Okay, seeing and hearing none. I do believe Trevor did drop off her newsletter, members. Okay, we're going to move on to Senator Dela Cruz's office. Is there a representative representing Senator Dela Cruz tonight?
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much, Charles.
Hi. So just an update where we are in the 2025 session. We're in conference committees, and during conference, WAM and Finn passed out their conference draft of HB 300 relating to the state budget. Just to highlight a couple of things, $10.5 million was allocated to the new covered play court at Mililani High School. $13.3 million in both fiscal year 26 and fiscal year 27 were to enhance biosecurity efforts. This will fund 44 new positions. And then to combat fireworks, $5 million in fiscal year 26 and $2.3 million in fiscal year 27 to create an explosive enforcement section to help stop the importation of illegal fireworks. This will be 8 positions. Also addressing illegal firework concerns, SB 222, SD1, HD2 is still alive and is in conference. And this will extend the sunset date of the illegal firework task force to June 30th, 2030. And it appropriates funds to support the work of the illegal firework task force. And then addressing e-bike concerns, SB 117, SD2, HD2 is still alive and in conference with conference fees. It creates the electricity mobility device rebate program. It defines electric bicycle and electric motorcycle. It creates insurance requirements. It requires helmets for ages 16 to 18, prohibits the use of class 3 e-bikes for the age under 15, and prohibits people under the age of 18 from using electric motorcycles and motor-driven cycles. And then I know there's a little bit of discussion about the landfill, so SB 438, SD2, HD3, and HB 969, HD2, SD2 are still alive regarding the landfill. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members of the board, members of the committee, are there any questions for Senator Dela Cruz's office tonight? Darsha.
Yes, so there have been a lot of cuts at the federal level, most recently to the University of Hawaii, $36 million, $46 million to farmers, and then specifically for children for their food programs in schools, I think it's about $3 million as well. And then we're looking at projected, across the country, $280 billion in cuts to food programs like SNAP, and $880 million in cuts nationwide to programs like Medicaid, Medicare, our CHIP program, and ACA programs. So I'm wondering, are there any bills currently in the Senate that will help with a stopgap for our people in Hawaii? I mean, 1 in 3 of our households is struggling with food insecurity. Our farmers are trying to make things that are sustainable, but it's really difficult when the funding is not secure. And then also, many of us are, in the community are trying to attain higher education, which does open many doors to having a job that matches the cost of living in the state. So again, back to my question, are there any bills that are currently in the Senate that would address these concerns? Thank you.
So I just so basically you're asking if there's any bills regarding UH and school and food programs. That was I just want to make sure I'm answering your question correctly.
It's UH, it's our farmers, it's our food sources for our kids in school, and then coming up, the projected cuts to very important programs that fund our medical for many people across the state. And then also they fund people who are, some of our most vulnerable people, children, families, our SNAP programs. So are there bills that are going to address that and have a stopgap? Thank you.
Yes. So the first thing I can say is UH was funded through HB 300 because UH is part of the state budget. And this week, Senator Dela Cruz's newsletter is going to highlight what funding went to UH this year. So that's that will highlight that. Regarding food, I don't know the bill number, but I know there's a bill regarding free lunches in the public schools, and I know that bill's still alive and it's in conference, if I am remembering correctly. And the rest of that I can take back to Senator. Thank you.
Thank you.
Members, are there any additional questions for Senator Dela Cruz's office? Robin, please to the microphone, introduce yourself for the record and ask your question to Senator Dela Cruz's office. Thank you.
Good evening. It's Robin Nelson again. So in a similar vein to the previous question, there are looking at federal cuts to the VA and the 988 hotline. Are there any current bills that are still alive pertaining to state warm lines and state hotlines pertaining to mental health and suicide awareness? Thank you.
I'm sorry, I do not know the answer to that question. I can bring it back to Senator and I can let you guys know next board.
Are there any other questions for Senator Dela Cruz's office? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Thank you so much, Charles, for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, I see Representative Matsumoto is with us online.
Hi. So everybody, I dropped off my newsletter earlier. Wanted to just start off with, yes, it is conference. There's a lot going on. There's going to be a whole bunch happening Thursday and Friday. There's a lot of bills still yet to be heard. So there'll be a lot of action happening there. I do want to just, the first page of my update is our mid-session survey, just reminding there's still time to fill it out. If you live in District 38, it got mailed to you. So please do fill that out, or you can go to repmatsumoto.com. There'll be a pop-up to click to fill out our survey. And we did get a question, because we mailed it to every house, that if it's only one survey per house. It is not. It is for everybody in the household. Please feel free to fill that out and turn that in to us to have your thoughts be heard on some of these bills. The next update is, I know this is Mililani Mauka update, but it applies to all of Mililani. But the Mililani Emergency Access Road, if you've gone from Mililani Mauka and you've driven towards Wahiawa, you've probably seen it on the right-hand side. So they have completed the first phase of that access road. And so that's something that's been really great. And I know board member Ross had a question about the gravel. And so we called DOT and DTS, and the update is they will be maintaining that until they can get to the next phase. But that's the wonderful update there, that emergency access road got finished, at least for that phase. I do want to highlight, like we said, we're in conference. I still have one of my bills moving, HB 286, which is the Individual Housing Account Program bill, which helps people use pre-tax dollars to save for a down payment. That is being heard, I believe, this Friday. So we'll keep you updated on whether or not that passes. Hopefully it does. But we did have two resolutions pass. One is House Resolution 131 and the concurrent Resolution 137. And that's for Kipapa Elementary School. We've gotten a lot of emails about the dangerous crosswalk. I know it's been mentioned, lack of crossing for the students there, and how so many have been hit. And I know this has been brought up many times at the neighborhood board. So that got passed through the legislature with a lot of support from the Kipapa Elementary administration, teachers, and parents. And also House Resolution 130 and 130 House Concurrent Resolution 136 using reflective gear. This was a constituent request, having DOT to be encouraging pedestrians to do a awareness campaign, use reflective gear between dusk and dawn. Many people are biking on the road and wearing all black and making it hard to see. There are a lot of updates, and we didn't get to see you last month, but I'm not going to go through every single one. I just wanted to highlight three. One would be the Mililani High School floor presentation. We got to highlight all the OIA and state champions for athletics, as well as all of the band members for their success, because they have won, I believe, for over 12 years. And so that was a wonderful floor presentation. Also, we did our Capitol Talking Tour. We had 80 people come out to our talking tour, and so that was wonderful. The lieutenant governor came out, and the governor let us go through his office as well. And then also our legislative town hall. We just had that. I don't know if it was just last week. I've lost track of time, but thank you to Board Chair Bass for coming to that and being able to participate in our town hall. And the last thing is, I did want to give recognition to Mililani Waina principal. Got to attend a Excellence in School Leadership Award that he won for his wonderful job that he does as the principal there. I don't know if that was announced already. And that is my entire report. There's so many more things I can go into, but I'm going to end it there due to time. If there's any questions.
Thank you so much. Okay, members, are there any questions for Representative Matsumoto? Darsha and Marilyn.
My question is similar to the question that I had for Senator Dela Cruz's office. And so with all of these cuts, we have the 36 million to UH programs. We have the 46 million that was cut to farming initiatives in Hawaii. We have the 3 million specifically for, you know, in school lunches for kids to have healthy, fresh food. And the impending cuts that will inevitably be happening to our Medicare, Medicaid, CHIP, ACA programs, so for healthcare, as well as the cuts to programs like SNAP. Are there any bills currently in the House of Representatives for Hawaii that would help with a stopgap and help to keep our most vulnerable people from just like, I don't know, that's just wrong. Anyways, thank you.
So like was said before, there's most of that's all done in the budget. But there also is, it's not HB 1300, but it's something very close because they just came to my office for the school lunches that was mentioned before. But we are already planned, and I don't know if this was covered, but there is already plans in the legislature that we've blocked out dates for a special session. So if we do have to come back to fill any gaps in, or if anything falls through, that's already planned for. All the members were given times not to be traveling. So everything that we have done is done in the budget already, but have left room to make changes as needed because there's still a lot of things that are up in the air and not knowing exactly what we need to do yet. So I know that's not a complete answer, but there is considerations taken into place for a lot of your concerns.
Thank you.
Marilyn, go ahead.
Thanks. Representative, I was confused by which crosswalks at Kipapa you're talking about. One
So
on
it's on the, it is on, oh, my brain, I'm so sorry, it's conference. It is the road that is on the side where the playground is. What is that? That's not Kipapa Drive. Is that Kuahilani?
Yeah. So
yeah, that road.
What is the resolution saying?
So it is, I have your email, so I can send you a copy, but the whole point is to have DOT, Department of Education, again, they've done things before, but really to come out and address the safety issues there, because right now, currently the vice principal is the one who comes out and does the crosswalk to try and get the students safe to school, but there's been several close calls. So it's what the resolution essentially saying is to have them look into it in order to enforce safety measures there. So it's not prescribing anything specifically in the resolution.
I just wondered because when Manor was here, he actually had that crosswalk moved to the location it is now, because that's where the path comes across from the housing on the other side of the street. So, and actually it's a lot better than it was before. So it's just confusing to me because it's relatively new correction to the crosswalk. So
yeah, so they're wanting some warning signage,
maybe that's
things that look into like speed bumps, stop here for pedestrians. They're looking to the option of solar powered, like rapid flashing crosswalk signs. So even though improvements were made, the principal and the administration reached out to me saying there are still problems. There's still students that have almost gotten hit. I think they're up to 4 students that have almost gotten hit, including the vice principal almost got hit. So while there have been improvements, they still said it's a problem.
They do have crossing guards though during. Yeah.
Yes. So the vice principal's often the crossing guard.
Oh, I think they probably need to get some volunteers. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I also see, before we move on to questions, Board Member Kennard wrote in the chat, for everyone's clarification, the bill everyone's referring to Senator Dela Cruz's office as well as Representative Matsumoto.
SB 1300.
1300. So you're
I was
close.
looking up HB 1300 and I was like, that's not it.
So taking a quick look, it was introduced by Senator Kidani, and it does provide some reduced price lunch. I'm sure our Vice Chair of Education can talk about that in her next presentation, and the conference committee is gonna meet again tomorrow. Okay, are there any final questions for Representative Matsumoto?
There's a little bit of confusion here because it's a city and county road. Why would the state be in on it?
For the resolution?
Yes.
You mean the Kipapa? Yes. So that's why it's a resolution, because it's not the state. It's requesting the city to look into it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why it can't be in a CIP or bill. That's why it's a resolution.
All right. I'm not seeing or hearing any further questions. So thank you so much, Representative Matsumoto.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Representative Trish LaChica, welcome.
Aloha and good evening, everyone. Trish LaChica. As Rep. Matsumoto shared, it's been long nights for us this week due to conference, and tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, session convenes at 6:30 p.m. As we have deadline and deadlines at 11:30 p.m. So closing will be there all night. So my report, just highlighting a couple things. Inside some legislative updates, I still have some bills in conference committee. The first one is something that I've been really working on the last couple years, which is addressing our school bus crisis. We have a bill that addresses safer routes to school, which really expands the red light camera program. And would implement it, prioritize the implementation of it in their school zones, and then one would enable the school facilities authority to expand childcare and preschool access across the state. But the flyer on the lower left, I will have a town hall community talk story event May 1st, next Thursday. This is doors open 5:30, program begins at 6, but please bring all your questions relating to transportation projects, the Kamehameha Highway question. Director Ed Sniffen will be there. His administrator for state highways will be there. We'll also have the Honolulu Department of Transportation Services there. So any city and county road question. So my office, we've compiled, I think about like 4 pages of just all the different constituent requests we've received over the and the kind of frequency of requests that we've received, so they can kind of highlight those various issue areas. But there's also new laws. Hopefully by then we'll know which laws have passed out of conference that will be coming online on relating to traffic safety and transportation. We'll also have the new Hawaii Department of Law Enforcement Director Mike Lambert there. So he will also be providing updates on his vision, his team, as well as the new, the expansion of the fireworks enforcement and fireworks safety. We'll have Honolulu Police Department there, mainly the Traffic Control Division. I don't know if you've noticed them, but there's been, our office has been working with them on just increased speeding enforcement, because we've received a lot of late night speeding down Kamehameha Highway past 10 p.m. And so they've been able to do some operations and been issuing tickets. And so as well as through Mehe'ula Parkway too. We also have resource tables there. So Office of the Prosecuting Attorney, you'll see they're all listed down here in like small text. And also the Wahiawa Community Health Center will be there. The pediatrician, MD, will be there to address, do a short presentation on vaccine safety, as well as provide an update on measles and what the Community Health Center will provide. They might also be able to provide consultation. So people who are wondering, how good was my vaccinations? Am I still good? Like, they'll be able to do some blood work, I believe. But they will not be doing vaccinations at the site, because we want to make sure we're preserving those resources. And then community updates. So tomorrow, Mayor's Town Hall, unfortunately, will be in session during this time, so I won't be able to make it. Update from Queens Medical Center that was shared with us. I believe Rep. Matsumoto also got this update, but demolition of long-term care building began April 21st. Will finish by early June to make way for more patient care space and a new on-site CT scanner. And then in the back is just the measles update. So on behalf, just on my position with education, just been working closely with Department of Health. You'll see a snapshot here of just the schools here in Mililani as well as in Waipi'o Gentry on the rate of religious exemption. So religious exemption is the third column, if you can take a look, which means students who are not vaccinated due to religious reasons. That's the percentage by enrollment. INC, which is the last column on the right, means incomplete record or students with missing immunization records. And in my meetings with Director Kenny Feng from the director of the Department of Health, it bumps up to the middle school and high school because of the required HPV vaccine. So that's most likely why it does go up for the middle school rate. So I think last week, but the Department of Health did update on their website. They did have a confirmed second case, but it is confined to the same household for the second measles case on Oahu. So they're doing contact tracing. They know every single person that, and they're following this pretty well. And then just Wahiawa Health Center did announce that yesterday that they're now offering additional vaccinations. So there's information there for folks, especially those who do not have access to their PCP, couldn't get an appointment, may not have insurance, health insurance. So there are the community providers that can assist with that. And that concludes my report. I can provide an update on Senate Bill 1300 since folks have brought that up. So Senate Bill 1300 is the remaining vehicle, the remaining measure on the expansion for free school meals. I have a bracelet here that says free school meals. So this would expand free school meals by allowing those on reduced price lunch to receive free lunch, free breakfast and lunch, as well as expanding access to those earning up to 300% of the federal poverty level. So why 300 is this is where it gets us closest to the Alice household. So the original bill had Alice in it, but because Alice is not defined in our administrative rules or in our HRS, federal poverty level was what is currently what's defined in the bill. So currently it's in conference, and then both the House and Senate are in negotiation for the final draft version of this bill. So hoping it gets through. There is appropriations in it. And as you all know, it gets close to the end when we'll hear from the House and Senate money chairs if we get released for funding. We're hopeful it's a priority for the Education Committee.
Wonderful. Members, are there any questions for Representative LaChica, members of the board, members of the community? Marilyn.
Representative, what can be done to increase the non-compliance of reporting of vaccinations by people? Because you look at Mililani High School, that many people have not sent their vaccination records in, and it's the law.
Right. So Department of Education, Department of Health is leading all the efforts around currently right now. So there's a lot of work kind of going in updating how they're reporting the system, how they're tracking it. But right now the focus is kind of getting a plan in place before the end of the school year. Because right now they have a stop flu in school program, like I believe during the summer. So they're hoping to partner and then address the highest risk schools. So if you look at ours compared to some of the neighbor islands, so neighbor islands, they have religious exemption rates as high as 60%. So they're looking at where they can target those communities and then partner with the community providers, federally qualified health centers to be able to offer those without access to vaccinations too.
But you know, children who have a religious exemption, the family has a right to expect that the other children in the school who don't have religious exemptions are vaccinated. And the figures just are terrible, really. And so hopefully you'll work on that.
Yeah.
Because measles is deadly, as you know, can be deadly.
Just
Thank
all
you.
doing our part to just share that, you know, we all, you know, we're all one ohana. It's our responsibility to make sure that those who do want to get vaccinated have the opportunity to do so. Ultimately, it's still a choice, but at the end of the day, we do have a responsibility to protect those who, you know, are, you know, might be vulnerable or might be immunocompromised.
The superintendent sent out a letter.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, but did they send out that information that you just gave about the availability of the shots in Waipi'o?
No, not yet. The current letter is there's first round of letter that went out, and then they're planning for
okay
before the end of the school year.
It's a real concern.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Marilyn. Are members, are there any other questions for Representative La Chica? Okay, seeing and hearing none, thank you so much.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Okay, last but not least, Representative Peruso, who's here online.
Thank you. So we dropped off our March newsletters. We just finished our April ones, and there's so much still up in there, as you can tell from the previous reports, which were all very complete. So it allows me some time to dig into a couple of details. The first is, you know, HB 969 and SB 438. Those are the two landfill bills, are basically being combined into HB 969. I'm on that conference committee, and we are going to be hearing that measure tomorrow morning. So that's movement in the right direction, I think, for our community. And I think that we are just starting to unpack the budget, but I think that, you know, the concerns that were raised by Darsha are really important. Our team is planning on having a community forum on May 12th at Mililani High School in H building, right where you're sitting, to address these concerns. So to do a post-session debrief, and then also to talk about the implications of the new administration's actions on our communities in Central Oahu. So it's a Central Oahu convening. And so that's the second thing I wanted to address. And then I would say that, you know, my overall impression of what we've been doing with respect to this session, in terms of proactively thinking about those concerns, we have put some money in the budget to address some of the, let's say, attacks on our neighbors who are immigrants, and to provide more funding for nonprofits. But we didn't pass any legislation to put any of the Title IX protections into state law. We didn't pass any progressive tax revenue generators, although I think HB 1308 on gambling is still alive. So that's the only tax revenue generation measure that I've seen, with the exception of, I think it's House Bill 1369, which is the green fee bill. Might be Senate Bill 1369. Danielle would know better than I. So those two bills will help us think about how to fill those gaps that are clearly being created. But we do need to come back. And so I think that that's why we're planning a series of community meetings. So the first one is May 12th. We're going to do another one June 12th in Waihua, and then a third on July 3rd out in Waialua. Just so that we can have a lot of robust community feedback on prioritization, because it's clear that the impacts are going to be pretty intense. And I just want to answer folks' questions. You've had a long evening already.
Thank you so much. Are there any members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Representative Peruso? I see Josie has a question. Go ahead, Josie.
Thank you. Representative Caruso, I have a question on House Bill 698, animal cruelty. Why did you vote no? And if the bill passed, is it gonna take effect July 2050? Is that correct? And if that's correct, why so long?
So the number again was, what was it?
698, the animal cruelty
698.
bill?
Yeah. So, so the first answer, the easy question first, that's just a defective date so that we know that that bill will go to conference. As soon as it, if it's heard in conference, it hasn't been, the conferees have been assigned, but it hasn't, no hearings have been noticed. So at this time, it's not certain that it will be heard in conference. And I think my, I'm looking at my votes, and I think that my vote on this measure had to do with the criminalization. So the penalties. And it's, I have spent most of my life around animals, and I have like some awareness of this kind of behavior or treatment of animals, and it is despicable and should be punished. I am just always very concerned about what we do with our criminal penalties, and raising it to first and second degree. I just felt that it was too much, and I think that that I think I voted on that measure in that way on judiciary, and yeah, that's accurate. So it was a question of how it will affect our judicial system.
Okay, thank you. The reason why I seen that it came up was because that incident that in Waipi'o that happened recently with the dog.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other members of the board? Darsha would like to ask questions to Rep. Caruso.
Sorry, I just wanted to pass along a concern. It is at the California Avenue where it crosses Cypress Avenue. There's
Okay.
a crosswalk there, and it's like you can't see it at all. And I'm wondering if it's possible to restripe it. I know, like in the ideal world, there would be like sidewalks all along Cypress and Olive and Ojai, but at least that part, like restriped.
Yeah.
you.
I will share that recommendation with Councilmember Wire, because the city roads are under his purview, but the Safe Routes to Schools issue has been top of mind for me since 2019. So we have invested a lot of time and energy into working with our council members and making Safe Routes to School actually a state issue since 2019. So I will definitely talk to Councilmember Wire about that. And I hear you, California Avenue, just in general, there are multiple spots, I think, that are fairly treacherous.
Thank you. And I do see Chelsea from Councilmember Wire's office is also online. So Chelsea, can you make note of that as well? So perhaps your two
Yeah,
offices can work together. Perfect.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll follow up for next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Any final questions for Representative Caruso's office? Okay, seeing and hearing none, thank you so much for your report.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, it's 9:33. Just to get through a few announcements. As you all know, you've received ballots for the neighborhood board elections. The neighborhood board, the 2025 board election voting will begin on Friday. So even though you got the ballots, don't vote yet. That's on Friday. And you can vote as early as 7:45 Hawaii Standard Time online with the NCO's office. And that runs till May 19th. So we're going to actually have our meeting after that. So during this voting period is in between the two meeting times. Next up, and good luck to all the candidates for our board. Appreciate your willingness to serve. Next up, the City and County of Honolulu and the Hawaii Food Bank are partnering to fight against hunger And if you have any collection items to donate, canned goods at tonight's meeting, please hand them off to Rachel. She's still here tonight. Our next board meeting will be held Wednesday, May 28th, 2025, here at Mililani High School and online. And of course, we're always broadcasting our board meetings on YouTube as well as on Olelo, Focus Channel number 49, every second Thursday at 9 a.m. And Olelo Views Channel 54 every first and third Saturday at 9 a.m. Without further ado, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for everyone for participating. Mahalo.